Hi everybody, my name is Riley Johnston. Thank you so much for clicking on my YouTube video. And today we are going to be learning about contour and equiluminance. And we are going to be taking a look at brightness and depth in art and illusions. So let's get right into it. So first things off, do you guys notice any difference between these two pictures? And I promise this is not a trick question and I'm not trying to pull a fast one on you. Just think of a few options of the differences between these two pictures. And if we move next, if you said anything regarding the depth, defined features, brightness, or motions of the pictures, you would be correct. Claude Monet's Impression Sunrise on the right shows a perfect example to get us warmed up to this idea of equiluminance. So, because the brightness of the bluish, grays, and oranges are the same, it cancels any contours in the painting, making the image seem more fluid. And so it seems like, there's more motion happening in this picture than versus the other one we saw in the last slide. That one has more contours, more shadows, it has more harsh lines, and it looks more static, that painting. But Claude Monet's, we can't really see what's going on. All it's very blurry, and so that is thanks to equiluminance. And let's take it one step further and look at this illusion to the left. Notice that the green dots are getting brighter and darker. When the green dots are brighter or darker than the background red, we can make out that figure in the center. This illusion is known as the contour and equiluminance illusion. And this equiluminance happens when the red and green dots share the same brightness. So it happens in the middle of that continuum. Therefore, the contours get deleted because there is no more depth perception, and the only difference is the color. And that makes the figure harder to see. And here we have three different images of when the green dots are at different brightnesses. So on the very far left, we have when the green dots are darker than the red dots. In the middle, when the green dots are brighter than the red dots. And on the very far right, we have when the dots are at the same brightness. So as we can see, those images in the middle and the left, their contours are much harsher, and we are able to make out that image in the middle a lot. Now you may be wondering, how are we even able to construct the figure from the partial contours? Essentially we're looking at dots in this illusion. Well, the answer is Gestalt perception. Now you may be wondering, what even is Gestalt perception? Well, it's essentially this idea that we as humans see things as a whole rather than as separate parts. It plays a major role in perceptual grouping. It also has 7 principles that it follows. So the first one is proximity, and so that essentially says that we group things by how close they are together. So for the example, all of the dots are closer to each other horizontally than they are vertically, and then it would be the opposite, and that makes our lines. Next, we have similarity, and so that means we would group things by their similar characteristics. So here we would do squares, and up here we would do circles, and then for this one we would go by color because that is their most similar characteristic. Next, we have closure. So this says that we fill in the missing information to form a complete figure. So as we can see, these Pac-Man looking circles are making the angles of the triangle. There's no actual triangle drawn in this. Next, we have, and lastly, we have symmetry and common fate. So symmetry means that we perceive symmetrical elements as one unified group, and common fate is that we see elements as a group whenever they move together. Example, when fish are swimming in the same school. To sum it up, we have used many Gestalt principles in our own illusion, and we use all of these principles every day to inform us about our perceptual world and how we group things. The most obvious principles that we used in our example were the principles of closure and figure ground. In closure, we filled in the missing information to reconstruct the figure of the woman. And in figure ground, we split up the illusion into a figure and a background, and that changed depending on the brightnesses of the dots. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope that equiluminescence is a little bit easier of a concept now that you've seen those examples and you know the principles that are behind them and that help run them. Thank you again so much for watching, and there is a link down here at the bottom if you want to go try that illusion for yourself. But bye guys!